Number 36 on our top 100 video games of all time. It's probably not going to shock you. It's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare from 2007. This was Infinity Ward and Activision changing the world.
Now, I've never been a big fan of the Call of Duty franchise until this game because I had never seen visuals that popped with this kind of realism before. I don't know what Infinity Ward does. I don't know what kind of deal they've made with the devil, but they get something out of these systems that nobody else seems to be capable of.
Yeah, it was a pretty incredible photoreal engine that they built for this game specifically, and it really took first-person shooters to a whole new level of fidelity that we hadn't ever seen before, especially on home consoles, especially on television sets.
That's right.
It was just this visceral, crazy, Michael Bay-esque action fury that was just coming at us for the entirety of the game experience.
Incoming missile!
And some would understandably argue that they never really hit this height again because they have been dipping into the same pool quite a bit, you know, whether you go to the Black Ops series or whatever. But there's something about the addictive qualities of these games. It's just irrefutable, and we wouldn't be here talking about this thing if it wasn't for this game.
Well, this is the game that also established the template going forward of having a relatively short but really tight single-player experience.
Easy, lads. There's too many of them. Let them go.
And then over-delivering on the multiplayer front.
Yes.
I mean, multiplayer that just wouldn't quit. Multiplayer that really felt boundless. Multiplayer that to this day, people are still playing Modern Warfare, the original, out there.
And, you know, for a lot of people, Call of Duty Modern Warfare represents the term video game.
It is a turning point for the genre. It's a turning point for the medium. And in fact, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare has been on the show many times. Let's take a look back.
But, you know, I never loved this series, and this game feels like the first time in the Call of Duty series that I would play the game.
You are an ass kicker in this game.
Yes.
You have a lot of weapons at your disposal. It's all modern stuff. And, I mean, they've done things where you just tap on the L trigger and it automatically zooms in, and you can take out a person in a couple of shots and just, you know, clear out a room in a very few short seconds. It's amazing.
The controls are really impressive. I mean,
incredible. So precise.
For a console first-person shooter, which people always whine about the controls, I actually don't mind them.
No,
I've never really been a big PC player.
The developers out there have been slowly perfecting console shooters.
And they got it right this time, for sure. But, you know, I mean, the first level, when you're down in the ship's hold, and you see the lighting effects, you know, you really, all of a sudden you see this light coming through a fish net.
And the storm swelling and the ship.
I needed a little Dramamine, you know. I mean, it was really like, whoa.
Absolutely.
I really was convinced that we were on a ship, and that, you know, these big waves are crashing over the side, and these tiny spray particle effects are everywhere. I kept waiting for Godzilla to come up out of the sea, but that's a different game.
It is a different game.
It's a different
Call
game.
of Duty 5.
Yeah, maybe.
And then it just accelerates from there, and you get into some war-torn areas in the Middle East, and then the whole story kind of interweaves this this kind of neo-Stalinism that's erupting, and these two kind of evil dudes. One's in the Middle East and one's in Russia. You have all these cool flashbacks where you go back in time and play 15 years ago in Chernobyl. There's a bunch of different characters that you jump into the body of, and you play from their perspective, which you're not a big fan of that.
I like to stay with one guy.
Still Frosty after all these years. This game will always be Frosty. Congratulations, number 36 on our list.